Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria and welcome to the August TBR plans video. So in the month of August, we have another reading challenge that we're going to be participating in, which is exciting because in July we participated in Gabby from Gabby Reads, Summerween, and had a great time. And for the month of August, we are going to be participating in Jan from Jan Agaton's Full Moon Readathon. I will link the video that Jan posted going through the Readathon and everything you need to know about it. But I already have my little page built out. I'm pretty proud of it. I printed out the summary page that she has. You can grab the templates on her Instagram if you want to join and be able to share on social media. I printed it out to put in my reading journal and wanted to build my TBR with you. So that's gonna be our main TBR. And then we also do have Kayla's from Books and Lala's Buzzword reading challenge. So for the month of August, we have 2 books to select from there, possibly one if we can find one that meets both requirements. And the other books we'll be adding to our TBR here are going to be our fantasy bingo books, because that challenge ends at the end of March of 2026. And I was doing some math. I think I have to read about 3 books or so each month if I want to like fully black out the bingo board. So I'm going to attempt that. So with that, we will also be going to our wheel that we built. If you're interested, you can see the video where I put the TBR together and see what we picked. I am gonna roll over the first one that we got selected. I put it in July, but like we were already like more than halfway through the month when I built that TBR. So it really wasn't realistic. So we have 1 book for July, so we have 2 more to pick. And that is what we're doing. I will also just kind of talk a little bit about August, what I'll be planning, anything else I'm thinking of doing and putting together, and just talking about a couple things here that probably need to be said at this point as we're getting closer to a couple of different things. So let's jump into it. Let's get it started here. I'm going to be looking down because I'm going to be looking at the prompts here, but I will also put Jan's prompts as well on here. So if you're interested in the Full Moon Readathon, you can also join and pick your own prompts. I hope you do join. We'll just keep it to the front list here for August and write it down here. All right, let's look at the prompts here for the Full Moon Readathon. She has it broken up by, there's like these tarot cards. So I'll go through each one of the tarot cards, even though she has like a compilation one where that's what I printed out. But you are like trying to collect each monster card. So our first monster card is the Grim Reaper here. And there are 2 prompts and then you get a reward for completing the 2 prompts. So the first prompt is a book you could use as a weapon. So 400-page plus book. Now, I might wait on this one before we pick it because I have quite a few chonkers on my Our Fantasy Bingo. So perhaps we will wait to see what we get for Our Fantasy Bingo before we pick that one, because we could get a 2-fer here, which would be nice. The next one involves death, but I have a choice for this. So I saw that one of the local bookstores here in Houston has been hosting a Hitchcock series for the summer, and and so they're actually doing an event on the start of the Full Moon Readathon where they're going to be playing Psycho, the movie, the Alfred Hitchcock movie, in theaters. But before that, they're going to have a book club for the book that inspired the movie, which is Psycho by Robert Bloch. So I actually was able to pick up the audiobook for that from my library, and I'm going to read that. It's only 5 hours. So a super short book. We love to see it. So Psycho from Robert Bloch. I will probably listen to it before the event, since it is technically starting on August 13th, which is the first day for the full moon readathon. So I think I will go with that. It's only 5 hours, so I could get through that in like 2.5, which is really fun. And then I've actually never seen the movie Psycho. I know. I think that this just sounds like a cool bookish opportunity, and I am trying to fit in as much bookish things going on in Houston before the end of September. So I wanted to go ahead and do that. It sounded like a lot of fun. So excited for that. Okay, so that's one for that TBR. The next we'll move over to the tarantula here. So we have a creepy book, and we have a book with 8. So that could be in the title. It could be the 8 book. There are 8 books in the series, 8 words, 8 letters. The author's name has 8 letters, etc. So a creepy book. Do I have any more creepy books? Oh, When the Wolf Comes to Call, because I didn't get to read that during Summerween. Okay, I think we are gonna add When the Wolf Comes to Call for our creepy book. I feel like it's creepy. Horror? Would you consider that creepy? Seems creepy to me. By Nat Cassidy. Like I said, I did have this for Summerween. This book is about a woman who ends up discovering this young boy who is being chased by her father, and this young boy who's being chased by his father. Or like the father tries to come after the boy, they end up running for their lives. And everybody's said that they really like this book. I'm trying not to look too much into how this book ends up being, because I don't know if like we're talking an actual werewolf, or it's an allegory, or it's a combination of both. So I don't know, but I think this sounds kind of creepy to me. It says like no one will be spared. So I feel like this will fit in here. Oh, I'm gonna write what it is on here so I know for the future. And I did really want to read this. I ended up choosing to read My Heart is a Chainsaw instead of reading this one. So I'm excited that I can add this to another readathon. So that is that. The next one is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one has 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, it's too many. 8 title, series, words, letters, authors' names. Pardon me. I filmed another video, so now I'm very sleepy. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's a opportunity. I honestly feel like this one is perfect because Jan loves this book. That is Carmilla by Sheridan Le Fanu, and it is a precursor to Dracula. It's got a female vampire main character. It has queer representation, and it's also nice and short. So Carmilla has 8 letters in her name. Just double checking my counting skills because they have not been on point today. So I'm gonna put Carmilla for our 8 prompt. And this will be good because I actually want to do a vampire reading vlog. I have quite a few vampire books on my shelf. So I thought, I've seen some other people do some like creature feature vlogs, so perhaps I will use Carmilla as a starting point for that. Can use it for the full moon readathon and also kick off reading some vamp books here in the month of August. So Carmilla is next. Feel good about that. Feel good about that. Okay, so that is the tarot card for our tarantula. Let's move on to our Frankenstein's monster. So we have a slow burn, slow pace book. Slow burn, slow pace book. And then we have our next prompt is bring a book back to life, but on your TBR for 1+ years. Slow burn, slow pace book. Let's see what we have on our digital as well. I double checked to see that this did in fact have a slow burn in it, and that is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. So I did check. It does seem like there is a slow burn. I don't know when she says slow burn if it has to be slow burn romance or whatnot. I'm terrible at writing ampersands. Is anybody else really terrible at that? I'm never good at it. So slow burn. Okay. And this one, I did not realize how prolific Miss T. Kingfisher is. It's basically about a girl, Mara. Mara is a convent-raised third-born daughter. She's relieved not to be married off for the sake of her parents' throne. Her older sister wasn't so fortunate, though, and her royal husband is as abusive as he is powerful. From the safety of the convent, Mara wonders who will come to her sister's rescue and put a stop to this. But after years of watching their family and kingdoms pretend all is well, Mara realizes if any hero is coming, it will have to be Mara herself. So she has to complete 3 impossible tasks, and a witch will grant her the tools she needs. But as is the way of stories of princes and the impossible, these tasks are the beginning of Mara's strange and enchanting journey to save her sister and topple a throne. Sounds cute, sounds fun, I'm excited. And apparently there is a slow burn romance in here. So it fits that title, fits that prompt. All right, book, bring back to life in the TBR. I'm gonna put this one tentatively. You've seen this one before. If you've stuck around on my channel, this is On Such a Fool Sea by Chong-Rae Lee. It is a dystopian sci-fi novel about our character about our main character Fawn, whose boyfriend goes missing in this world, and she goes on a journey to kind of find him. Like I said, it is dystopian, so I started reading it and just never finished it, and I keep putting it on challenges and never pick it up. So I'm gonna put this here tentatively because I do have one on our fantasy bingo that has also been on my TBR for over a year. So depending, I might double up, so we'll see what we spin. So we're gonna hold off on that one, but we're gonna keep this one on the side. Okay, I'm trying to speed through here because the battery is running, folks. Okay, so let's move on to our little goblin here. Goblin. An ugly cover, intriguing premise. Do I own any ugly covers? Okay, so hear me out. I'm not coming for these illustrators. I'm not coming for these authors, okay? Want to say that first. These two are the ones that I think, if I look at my bookshelf, are probably the least appealing cover-wise to me, personally. The first one is The Duke Gets Desperate by Diana Quincy. I picked this book up because of Janani from This Story Ain't Over. She talks a lot about this romance author who has Palestinian characters in her romance novels, and I've been meaning to try to pick her up, and I finally was able to find one of her books when I was doing the Houston bingo, and so I picked this one up. And this is part of the Sirens and Silk series. The reason I was thinking this one is I'm not a big fan of these old school romance covers. I don't particularly like them. So to me, like, if I hadn't have heard about this from Jenny, I wouldn't have picked it up because I don't like this cover. But it does sound intriguing to me, and I want to support this author and see how it goes. This one is about Raya. She suddenly inherits her glamorous late cousin's castle in the English countryside, and she clashes with the charismatic young duke who insists the castle is rightfully his. So, typical romance novel, like I said, but because I don't really like these covers, this could be a good candidate. The other candidate on here, this one is also on my Our Fantasy bingo, so I guess if I put it on here, it would still work. I just need to take it off the wheel. I'm not a huge fan of this book, but this is about a woman who is consistently having to try to defeat a Dark Lord, and every time she fails, she dies and starts over again. And so instead, she decides to try to become the Dark Lord to stop the cycle, which sounds like a lot of fun to me. So I'm gonna tentatively, one of these two. I just haven't decided yet. So let's put those to the side. We'll come back to them once we make a decision. For our second prompt for the goblin, we have a trickster. So we'll probably have a plot twist. Or. I do really want to read the Thursday Murder Club. And I think that the movie is coming out this month. Yes. Okay, so the movie is coming out this month. And I've been wanting to read it before the movie comes out. So I think I'm actually going to put the Thursday Murder Club. And I'll just have to figure out. Hopefully, I'm sure I'm going to have to get it because since the movie's coming out, I feel like people are going to be looking it up. This will be the second Richard Osman I've read. I forget which challenge I read him for last time. And that's Trickster. All right, so we haven't quite completed that. Let's go to our Buzzword reading challenge books and then we will spin the wheel. Okay. Oh, this is perfect. Oh my gosh. Thank you, TBR gods. So our Buzzword book cover challenge is Transportation, and the book that I had picked for that one was A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers, which is about a monk and a robot. From what I remember, the monk is on a journey to learn the meaning of life or something like that, and the robot is on a journey to learn about what humans want. Because like the robots like went off into the wilderness at some point in this world and stopped having interactions with humans. And then they intersect and become friends. It's supposed to be nice and cozy and lots of people love it. And it has a little like cart transportation thing on the bottom right hand corner of this cover. And so I had actually picked this book for this prompt and it came in from the library. So perfect. We can write that down. Look how easy that was. Look how beautiful that timing was. And I have 14 days to read it. So we're right on schedule of reading that first in this month before we start the full moon readathon. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. I'm so excited. Okay. This will be my second Becky Chambers. I also read the long, what is it? This book. And I liked it. I was first turned on to A Psalm for the Wild Build by Allie from Allison Pages, because this is like one of her favorite books. If you haven't checked out her channel, check her out. She is no longer posting videos, but her backlog is amazing. And she really is the person who got me into BookTube. So, there's that. Okay. Oh, really? We can't? I think we might be doing this vampire vlog this month. I think it's been decided because the Buzzword challenge is to read a title, like read a book with the word with in the title, and I had Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. I mean, this TBR is kind of writing itself, guys. Maybe I'll watch the TV show since I'm gonna read the book and rewatch the movie, because that would be great. Okay, so the buzzwords were easy. That means let's go ahead and spin this frickin' wheel, shall we? Oh, which reminds me, before I spin the wheel, let's put our first book on here that we spun originally. And that, my friends, is Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I feel like we're finally getting on the bandwagon. I've been meaning to read this book for so long. Before, like, people were really diving into it, I had seen it. I was like, oh, Dungeons and Dragons, this seems like so much fun. And I just kept putting it off and putting it off. I've literally had it on my digital shelf for a long time. But I do have an audiobook and digital version, so I'm excited to read that one. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on here for our fantasy bingo. Go ahead and spin for 2 more books for our fantasy bingo, and we'll see if any of these fit our prompts for the full moon readathon, and then we can go from there. So spin. Oh, all right. Well, I guess that can answer a question there. So we did get How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying for our fantasy bingo for the first one. And I did have that for an ugly cover with an interesting premise. So let's put that on there because I'm still debating whether I want to read The Duke is Desperate, but I'm very excited about that because I've been interested in reading this book since Kayla from Books and Lala was just raving about it, and I was kind of interested in it. So such a long title. That is so funny. This TBR is like really working out for us. So we're definitely, they're definitely in our fantasy, but are we gonna double dip? Let's see. All right, let's remove that choice. And now let's spin her again. Come on, give us a chonky book. Who wishes for a chonky book? Oh no, it's short stories. I'm not sad about that because I do really want to read Silk and Sinew here, but it doesn't fit the prompt. So maybe we will double dip for How to Become a Dark Lord and Die Trying, just to give us a little bit of cushion since we are going to be reading a chonky book for this. I mean, I still could pick something from our fantasy bingo and just remove it because I have quite a few fantasies that are pretty chunky, but this is exciting. So this book, Silk and Sinew, is a short stories based off of like Asian folklore, and I saw this from Jenny did a book haul that she got books from publishers, and she put it up and I was instantly like, ooh, that seems really interesting. So I put it on this TBR and now it is here. All right, so that is, we've got our 3 for our fantasy bingo. I am gonna go ahead and put How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying for the full moon readathon as our ugly book cover. Again, no offense. Oh no, we're losing battery. Okay, let's go ahead and pick a book. Hold on 1 second. Okay, change my mind. I'm gonna go with The Reformatory by Tiana Reeve-Dew for that very first prompt here under the Grim Reaper of a book you could use as a weapon. It's over 500 pages. So I have been wanting to read this. I picked this up recently at Barnes, and I have heard nothing but rave reviews about this book. It is about I'm trying to write this down. It is about one of those all boys school institutions, and this boy who gets sent to it, he has a bit of like some paranormal kind of powers that may give him insight to some sketchy things that are going on at this all boys school institution here in Florida. It is a historical horror fantasy kind of situation. It, again, sounds super interesting, and it, I think, is often You know, I think it's honoring a lot of the tragedies that happened at these kind of reformatory schools that kids were sent to. So I'm gonna go with that for our full moon readathon last pick. And that is our August TBR. I was gonna give more news about what we're doing in August, but I guess we're doing a vampire vlog. And again, I'm gonna be doing some more announcements here. I guess we'll just kind of end this saying I am going to be taking a break here at the end of September because we are going to be having a baby, and the baby is going to be due at the end of September. I'll talk more about that at another point in time about what that means for the channel, because I'm not going to be changing much. So not too much to talk about there, but we'll see. I'm going to try to get some videos pre-edited so I can have those going while I'm taking a break. But thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear what books you're looking forward to reading in August. And if you want to stick around, feel free to subscribe. I upload every Friday, except today, which is Sunday. But until next time, I hope you read a good book. I hope you find some joy. And most importantly, I hope you do something to make the world a better place. And I will see you in my next one. Bye!